That's the moment you take back control. If you can be agitated, if you can be agitated at all, if you can be led by the carrot or by the stick, if I can tempt you, or if I can scare you, then I can control you. The carrot, temptation. The stick, fear. They use fear and they use temptation to manipulate you in all sorts of ways. Start looking for it. The next time you see a commercial, are they using a hot chick in a bikini to relate Budweiser to you? Okay, what does a hot body have to do with beer? Drink beer, get fat, be hungover, be lazy. You see? I like a good beer, but a dark import, by the way. Okay, so no offense to Budweiser. So my point being that you'll start seeing it. When you understand the root, you understand all of its blossoming. And you start to see in everything, what are they using here? Ah, they're using fear. We need this. We need this to get the terrorists. We need this. We need this to protect our kids. Another law. You'll start seeing it in legislation when they're using fear. Some laws are good, some laws are bad, but you'll be able to tell how they're using either fear or temptation. Same thing. Anyone, any business negotiation. Now you can look, you can have a twinkle in your eye. You go to work and the guy down the hall who's been one-upping you and he wants your job. And you can just have this confident twinkle in your eye. And you look right past him and through him and you see him in the hallway and just sort of, and keep going. And that smile will make him so nervous. That smile will cause him to doubt himself. Just that little twinkle in your eye and that little smile. And it's not fake. It's natural. It's natural. Remember, straining to control yourself means you're still being controlled. It's not genuine. It's ornamentation. Ornamental. Like an ornament, like Christmas decorations are clearly fake. Okay? If you're straining for control. Now you know you can just have a twinkle in your eye because your spirit, the rising and advancing of the spirit is in control. And when you're operating from that level, when you're operating from the empty mind and nothing bothers you, that will cause your enemies to doubt themselves. And any negotiation you use it, they'll become more insecure and be willing to cede your request to give you what you want in fear of losing you. Now, the second rule would be to guide by the Spirit, as we've just discussed, and to make sure that you stay rooted in principle. Stay rooted in principle. And that's the third one. You need to be rooted in principle. If you are a deceiver, it will come back to haunt you. So don't operate from a selfish sense of taking advantage of other people. You can have a clean conscience, sleep well at night, make tons of money, and get everything you want in life, and not feel a shred of guilt about it if you do it right. Remember that long ago in the warrior societies, you were born into a caste system. Say in Japan, were you born in a peasant or were you born in nobility? Now today the world is very different. Now you can be born in the ghetto and make yourself nobility and make yourself royalty, like James Brown or Colin Powell. Colin Powell, the second most powerful man in the world, the Secretary General. I think he came from the Bronx. Broke. Nowadays, where you're born, you still have a choice, don't you? You can rise up. And so many men have risen up from disadvantaged circumstances and become world leaders and become men of honor, that you can now choose your birthright. You can choose the birthright of a warrior, of a noble class, of a samurai class. That's now a choice. There was a time when people didn't have that, and there were few who still fought their way. And you need to develop that within you. Do you see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? The fourth rule is to grow harmoniously. You need to grow harmoniously. You need to expand, because if you don't grow harmoniously, what I mean by that is growing naturally, spontaneously. There's inflation. You know, back in 1982, if you were making $15 an hour, that was probably really good, wasn't it? Okay? You need to grow because inflation is taking away what you have anyway. You must be always growing. That is the principle of life. Eat or die. So you must grow. You need to kick the ball ahead. I remember back in 1993 when I was doing private lessons, teaching private, still studying, and working for a company that sold advertisement and musical programs, okay? So someone goes to the opera and the local jewelers and restaurants and things, they have their advertisements, very expensive, very nice programs, and they'd be doing this all over the country. And I read a book called The Tao of Jeet Kune Do by Bruce Lee, and he talked about kicking the ball ahead. He said, kick the ball slightly ahead of you, so you're slightly going for it, because if you settle in, I'm not quoting the exact words, but I'm quoting to you my understanding of its intention. Kick the ball ahead. So I decided to kick the ball ahead and go nuts. And I lost myself in the mind of battle, and I doubled my income. I think you should double your income for 4 years straight. Now, I've done that. Let's talk about some ways you can do that. Double your prices. Kick the ball. Double your prices. If you're an attorney and you're charging $150 an hour, re-establish yourself as an authority and charge $300 an hour. But I'll give you a break and charge you $250. Professional courtesy. Position yourself as an authority. We're different. We charge more. If you're looking for a bargain, if you're looking for cheap, go down the street. Okay? Have a different position, a different field. There's more value. There's more value. Be worth that $300. Okay? Because you have a strategic and martial view of this. And you're not going to get led by emotion, and you're not going to be an idiot. See? So I'm going to keep you out of jail for your third drunk driving, because we're going to look at this tactically and strategically and be like water. Okay, and say how we can get around. Water is unstoppable, isn't it? Okay? So position yourself as an authority. Remember, price is value. What are you going to get for a 25-cent CD? You're going to get a blank little CD. What are you going to get for a $20 or $18 CD? You're going to get enriching music, right? Price is value. So raise your prices, okay? Also, multiply yourself. Multiply yourself like I talked about. I showed you the model of how to earn $250,000. Now you times yourself by 4. There's 4 of you, that's $1 million. Multiply yourself. Whatever you're doing, duplicate it. You're an attorney, okay? Hire another one. I can show you effective advertising for any business that will kick through your competitors. We may talk about that later. Otherwise, it's on our Unfair Sales Secrets CDs and DVD. The Unfair Sales Secrets will show you how to blow away the competition. And then you'll have to hire other attorneys in your staff, okay, to handle the overload. You always want to be overload, okay? So, double your prices. Do it. Boom. Be bold. To make any change, you've got to be bold and do it now. Right now. That's one way to change. It's got to be bold and violent. Boom. This is what we're doing. Huh? Whoa, we're going. Yes, double your prices. Multiply yourself, okay? Another way, add an income stream, okay? Add a stream of income to the one you already have. You have a day job? Great. What do you know? Are you fit? Are you in really great shape? Then you know about fitness, don't you? Are you a singer? You know about singing, don't you? Do you know Tai Chi? Are you a chiropractor? What do you know? You can add an info product, an information product. Books, CDs, DVDs, info product. That's a stream of income. What else? Consulting. You can take these principles and distill them down. Now what I've done is I'm giving you a lot of information, and I'm wanting you to mine for gold. I can distill it down and make lists for you, but you get more doing it on your own. He who cuts his own wood is twice warmed. So you can distill this down and become a consultant. Become a consultant. Come along and say, I am a strategic consultant. Let me look at you and tell you how you can go about improving your business or getting what you want. Okay? Get good at something and then consult about it. You can clone other models. That doesn't mean copy. That doesn't mean rip off, because it's easy to spot a fake. Clone other models. Look at other ads. Gee, this guy is selling millions of dollars in seduction CDs and DVDs. He knows the art of seduction. But so do I. And that's interesting. I see what he's doing, but I know my own way. And make your own way and clone another model. That means you take their model, just the model, not the content, and say, how can I clone this? So you look at other models. You watch ads. Ads that are continually running are making money. Clone another model. Okay? It could be anything. It could be anything at all. That's how most people start out in business. They work for somebody else, and they say, I could do this. I can do this. I worked for a painter. I learned how to paint. Why am I working for this guy for $8 an hour? I can do this. So I made some flyers, and I started spreading them around town. And I started getting jobs and bidding my own jobs. And if it was an empty building, I could put on my headphones and work into the night, painting my own hours whenever I wanted, and make the kind of money I want to make, and hire a couple of my buddies for $8 an hour. I can do this. So I was a painter. And then I was a tree cutter, and this is in high school, and I'm making loads of money. And I'm out there cutting trees and trimming hedges, making flyers and putting them up everywhere. Okay? And then I fell down a tree one time, cut my arm. I thought, I'm getting tired of this labor. What could I do? And I thought, all right, I used to get a street listing, a book from the phone company, and it had Main Street, names and addresses of listed phone numbers. And I would call, Mrs. Smith, we're going to be working in your area. Would you like us to come by and give you a free estimate on any work you might need? What have you got? Eucalyptus trees, pine trees, what have you got? Hedges? We'll come by and give you a free estimate. Since we're already going to be there, if you want to go ahead and get some work done, no pressure if you don't want to, but we're already going to be there. Would you like us to come by and give you a bid? We're going to be in the area. I can give you a break. Great, coming by what time? 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock? What's better for you? Okay, great. Okay, so that's what I've been doing to get jobs. I learned that. I developed that. How can I get more where I am rather than just flyers and business cards? So then I thought, I'll call another tree company and I'll sell him these leads. And I'll say, listen, let me book you full time. Do you have an estimator who goes out and just estimates? Now, what else could you do with that? Could you do that for insurance? Could you do that for an electrician? Could you do that for a painter? Think about it. Could you do that for a guy who sells water purifiers? Now, we do have the do not call list, so you get online and you say, where can I buy a scrubbed list? That means a list that is clean, that has taken out all the people who do not want to be called. See, there are ways that you can be an appointment setter in charge. You know what I charged? $20 an estimate. Why? Because if he got one job, it could be $2,000. And over half of the estimates, he'd bid a job. So if I gave him 10 estimates a day, so that was $200 a day. That was $1,000 a week. Not bad for a high school kid, wouldn't you say? Because I could sit down in my evenings and call people after dinner. After I'd come home, done my homework, have my dinner, I could sit down and call people and drum up 10 bids. Does that make sense? Are you with me? Strategic thinking. This is how it works. So I was an appointment setter. You bet. An insurance guy had me to give me a big stack of his leads, calling people for farmers insurance to make his appointment. He's going to be in your area. You know you need to be insured. Would you like him to come by? Free quote, no obligation, no pressure. Just want to give you the information. Boom. Had it going on. Could I have outsourced that to somebody? Could I have found someone else in my school and maybe some nice girl who was polite and said, listen, I'll give you $10 for every appointment you set. And then I'd get 10. And I wouldn't even have to work, would I? That's strategic thinking. And there's nothing wrong with that. The wealthy do two things. They either have money working for them in investments or they have people working for them, or both. So if you don't have money, you can still use people as a resource. You're helping them, you're giving them money, and they are helping you. Okay? So that's another way you can be an instructor, teaching the martial arts. Now, first I went to some local traditional schools, got black belts, did the whole Karate Kid thing. And then I wanted that reality-based stuff. So I went with some of these. We've trained the Navy SEALs, JKD guys. Good guys, a lot of fun, great scrapping. But a lot of these guys were a bunch of alcoholics sitting in their garage. Lie, take advantage of you. And it took a few painful experiences to wake up, and I thought, these guys are doing this and they're good. They do know how to fight, and they do know how to teach you to fight. Maybe I should get good. So I went off by myself and got real good, and then I thought, you know what, if I'm a little more professional than them, and I'm paying these guys $2,000 for 3 days, maybe I can add that instead of just having a karate school and being dependent on my local economy. Okay? Dependent on the local economy, how limited? How limited can you be? Now, if you're in the right place, say in Southern California, and you charge $100 a month, and you've got 100 students, that's $10,000 a month. You're doing pretty good, okay? Especially if you've got low overhead somewhere, which is unlikely in Southern Cal. And they make it very unbusiness friendly. But wherever you are, why be dependent on the local economy? So I said, I'll advertise all over the place. I'll have a website up. I'll get out there. I'll reach the public, and whoever wants this training can come and get it for me. And I'll charge $1,200 for 2 days. Well, after a while, I said, gee, I'm getting busy here. I'm going to charge $1,800 for 2 days. And then I can charge $2,400 for 2 or 3 days. Now, my old students who've been with me for a long time, they still get the discount rate. But new people coming in, this is what I charge. If you don't like it, that's okay. Go somewhere and pay $100. It's not about price. It's about value. And it's about my time. Okay? And likewise, it's worth it. I give them the great training, the training that I was taught to teach. And it changed their lives. And everyone's happy. And they come out of there a tiger. And most people come back for more. They come in there a lamb and they come out a tiger. Okay? And then we start seeing how all of life is martial arts and how all of life is training and everything is training. Life itself is training. So you start seeing this in relationships and communications. And all of life is war. Basically, all of life is war. And all of life is training. It's all training. It's all martial arts, isn't it? When you think about it, because I'm seeing how people bind themselves, okay? Because mental warfare has been conducted on them. Mental warfare, and they don't even know it. You know, I see all the martial artists, and 99% of them never fulfill their own potential. And they miss the point when applying their skills to real life. Why? Because they've been preconditioned to respond from emotion and doubt. So the moment they step out of the dojo, they say, dude, in that dojo they're a samurai, man. Whoa, impressive, awesome, huh? But then when they step out the door, it's like, dude, see? I said, let's take this right out of the dojo. Let's take this heart of the matter and keep it and retain it. And step out of the door and say, I'm still in the dojo. The world is my dojo. Does that make sense? Are you seeing what I'm telling you? Bruce Lee said, each man binds himself. The fetters or the chains are ignorance, laziness, preoccupation with self, fear. He must liberate himself. This is my inner world I'm showing you. I'm telling you my story. You can see that I see things differently, don't I? I see things differently. And that's why I get paid what I get paid, because I help people remove those blocks. I show them. I don't do it for you. I show you how. I change your attitude, and I fine-tune your awareness. How do we actualize our full potential? That was a constant question that Bruce would ask himself. How do we actualize our full potential? Life is a martial art. Artist of martial arts, artist of life. You see? Let's talk about ninja mind control. Sun Tzu, the one who wrote the famous Art of War, said that to subdue an enemy without fighting him is the greatest of skill. Without fighting him is the greatest of skill. Are you already defeated? Are you already subdued? The worst thing you can do is look at an opponent. Well, he's so big. Oh my gosh, how will I ever? Or to look at a goal. How could I possibly climb that? How could I possibly make $1 million? It's impossible. Or, oh, she's so beautiful, she'd never, ever even talk to a guy like me. That is all you being subdued. You being beaten without a fight ever occurring. Don't ever do that. That's the worst thing that you can do. Now let's talk about ninja mind control. The real thing.